Hey all, welcome to Talking Time with Caffeine.
Hello.
Just me and Nick today, so it's gonna be a short episode probably.
Hmm.
So,
Oi.
as I get everything else ready to go, why don't you why don't we start with a daily onion trip? Just one to start out with, of you you as elementary or middle school sneak on trips.
Oh, trying to think of an elementary school schnick trip. Uh,
Hmm.
was there any particularly special Florida vacation that pissed that elementary school schnick fucked up?
Hmm.
Hmm. Trying to. I already told on an episode a while back. I told a middle school schnick experience where I went to an overcrowded water park.
Ah,
Huh?
I said ah.
Yeah, that was actually the episode where Ooh Emperor's New Groove came from.
You said wait, do you have headphones?
Um, yeah, I have little earbuds, but I don't think it would make a difference on the phone.
It'd be easier for you to hear me or something. So you're always saying what,
Well, no,
what?
I don't have trouble hearing you. Thought you want me to use it for sound canceling.
Oh, yeah. Well, say something.
Um, well, I shouldn't really have to retell that story because you could just go to that podcast episode. Trying to see. I do remember there was a middle school schnick story involving a loose tooth.
Ah, but during a trip during it happened during a trip.
Yeah, it did.
All right, tell it.
So we went on our normal Disney vacation. It may have happened in fifth grade, like towards the end of fifth grade, but it's basically middle school schnick at this point. So we ended up going to the Chef Mickey's restaurant in Disney World where my sister would always have her birthday dinner. Let's just say I could not enjoy the dinner at all because I had a tooth that was getting incredibly loose at that time. And it was loose in such a way to where I basically could not chew anything, but it still had enough of a firm grip to where I didn't want to pull it out.
All right.
So my dad had to leave for a party while I was being watched by my gram and my uncle.
Wally.
Yes. So my dad's like, okay, let me pull the tooth out.
And you're like, no way.
Yeah, I was like, no way. I wasn't letting him do it. And then finally, after a long, long debate, he's like, I gotta go. Let me pull it out. And I was like, no. And he's like, okay, then you need to keep the tooth for the rest of the night. And I was like, no.
Don't pull it out, but I don't want to keep it.
So then he turned around and he outstretched his hand. He's like, okay, I'll pull it out without looking. Or something like that. And, like, he gave a very generous offer. He's like, I'm not going to grab you. I'm not going to hold you down. Just let me pull it. I still refused. My dad eventually decided to turn it into a game. He made my sister grab the video camera, and she started taping right as he actually grabbed me and sat me down, like, right on the bathtub. And because I watched the video quite a few times, I can kind of transcribe it. So the video opens he's like, hey, come over here. And I'm like, no. And he's like, sit over here, sit. And of course I start yelling big time, crying, God, you said you wouldn't grab me. You said you wouldn't grab me. And he's like, stay over here, stay. Hey, stay. So he grabs my face and he's trying to get a grip on the tooth. I managed to blurt out, I don't want anyone to see, because my sister was videotaping. And my dad ended up deciding to justify. He's like, they gonna remember. They gonna remember.
Forever and ever.
And he finally reached in, and he got a hold of the tooth, and he finally ripped the bastard out from the bastard. And as my sister was dying of laughter, I was freaking... I think I yelled something to the effect of, hey, God, as it got ripped out. And then my dad was... And then freaking... I'm like in this very nervous pose, kind of. And my dad's like, here. And he shows me the tooth that he pulled out. It was kind of covered in blood, and I kind of ran off saying, too bloody! And then he gave chase to me because he was making me use a toothbrush and everything to clean everything up. No, he didn't have me cleaning the floor or anything. He had me brush the teeth. But yeah, that was that story, and that was in 5th grade, I believe.
Let's see. Remember, I remember a 5th grade trip story from me. Let's see. Well, 5th grade, we took a trip towards the Columbus Zoo. I think it was a big 5th grade field trip back then. Anyways, it was about an hour, maybe hour and a half away from Vandalia. So, on the bus for a while. My friend, I think as usual, I probably sat next to my friend Jacob. He was a window hog. If I sat next to him, he wouldn't share the window. We wouldn't take turns. So, anyways, got there. My friend Jacob liked cats. So, in the Columbus Zoo, you could get really close to the animals, almost like at least at that time, like a pane of glass between us and the animal. Probably not very thin glass, but it wasn't a big distance away. So the cats could come right up to the thing, And the cat kind of got there. Everyone else was scared. He was like, "Ah, cute little kitty cat." Then a bee came along, and he freaked out.
Yeah.
Because I'd freak out.
I wouldn't have.
I would say I would freak out now, but back then, but still, a bee kind of freaked me out. Not as much as he did him, but since I'm allergic to bees, kind of, yeah, I stay away from them if I could.
Yeah, I'd understand that.
Anyways, yeah. Other than that, the only thing I remember. The only thing I remember about that trip was that incident, and the fact that the animals were really, really close.
Oh.
You have another story to tell?
I mean, when it comes to trips, can't really think of any at the moment that I haven't already told.
If you have to retell the trip again, I don't mind.
Oh.
Especially if it's been a while since you told it. He knows you might forget might remember something new about it.
Oh. I mean, I can retell that infamous water park story.
Okay.
So, I believe the summer after 5th grade, but just before 6th grade, my ma ended up getting discounts to go to a park called Dorney Park in Pennsylvania. Let's just say this was a period when I hated when my ma was being quote-unquote mean to me. When in fact she was just disciplining a bratty kid. And I was like, she announces it at the dinner table when we're at a restaurant. I'm like, bless you, Mom, bless you.
So what is this place?
Dorney Park. It's in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
It's like a theme park and a water park. Let's just say we drive there, and it's like a 4-hour drive. And we get there, there is an utterly massive line to get in the park.
Hmm.
Like, it was an entire crowd of people trying to get in the park. To be honest, maybe it's because I wasn't an adult back then, but honestly, when I first saw that crowd, I had the illusion that it was a bigger crowd than anything you would see at Disney. Like, that is how big of a crowd it was to get through the line just to get in the park. Like, even when I went to Disney during, like, its peak season, I don't remember having to wait that much just to get in the park. And, of course, my ma told me to put up with it.
Ugh.
And I don't remember how long it actually took for us to get in. But see, I think there was a key reason why it was so crowded that day. The day we picked to go happened to be on the day of a heat wave.
It did?
Yeah, it was very hot that day.
It's weird.
So we get in the park after an unknown amount of time. We finally managed to set up on a beach with a wave pool. Except, I honestly wonder if this park had a park capacity limit. Because on that beach, there was, like, basically a person every square inch. Like, there was barely any room to walk, and certainly my gram and my ma could not go at the edge of the wave pool safely. Because there was just too many people in there. Wasn't even that big of a wave pool, especially compared to Typhoon Lagoon in Disney.
I've never been to the water park in Disney.
I mean, they're both good. It's definitely a lot more worth it.
Yeah, it was just extra for the Hopper Pass, and if like I'm always putting in $1,000 via hotel and paying ride and all that stuff to get down there. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's not water. I mean, I went swimming at my vacation today, but I don't know. Water parks weren't that as exciting as they were when I was a teenager.
I guess it depends on which one you go to.
Because
I guess it also depends on if you're able to bring friends and family with you.
True.
But yeah, so we're on the beach. And of course, me, my dad, and my sister are immediately trying to find rides to go on. We first go to a lazy river. Let's just say at Disney, the lazy river doesn't even have a line.
Oh, I used to love can't say lazy rivers.
Yeah, well, let's just say at Disney, both Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach, their lazy rivers don't have a line. Can I pop in?
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to... Never mind.
Brandon, I think Brandon just sent me a message saying, can you pop? Oh, you did.
Yes, I did. I was asking Brandon if he could pop in. So ignore that and continue your story.
Alright, well, I don't know if he's going to answer, but... So, yeah. In Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach, there was no such thing as a line to get on the lazy river. You just go in the river, that's it. You circle around the park. Dorney Park, maybe it's because they made the river a linear path. Then again, I don't think it was a linear path. Their genius idea was to have a line for it. Maybe it was to prevent... Maybe it was an in vain attempt to prevent overcrowding the river, because yeah, the Disney parks would get a bit crowded in the river, but not too crowded usually. But yeah, so Dorney Park's lazy river has a freaking line. And it's not just a line. Well, then again, I don't know if we went on the river first. Like, we may have gone on, like, a standard slide. Like, the standalone slide may have had the shortest wait time at about an hour.
Alright.
Not sure if it was a tube slide or if it was a regular slide. May have just been a regular. So then the lazy river was second. And let's just say the line was so long that it stretched for quite a big distance outside the gate for the ride. And me and my dad decided to wait for it, and I think my sister was like, screw this, I'm not waiting for this. I'm not waiting just for a river. So, me and my dad actually decided to power on through. We get about maybe 1 hour in. We get about halfway through. And
was it hot that day? Were you like sunburned already?
I think my mom put a lot of sun lotion on me. Though what did happen was I started to get very nauseous.
Oh God.
Yeah, that did happen, because thing is, if I didn't eat anything good in the morning, or if I just had an overall lack of blood sugar, I believe.
Okay.
I would get very pale skin, and I would get incredibly nauseous to where I felt like I was gonna vomit.
Quick question. Is what I think is gonna happen about to happen?
No.
Okay.
No. Anytime this happened, I never actually vomited.
Okay, so it's like all over the Lazy River. Like, you get in the river, all of a sudden, boom! River closed down for 2 hours.
Yeah, that did not happen, though. That would have been awesome if it did, unfortunately. Even though freaking elementary school... Then again, that probably would have highlighted that us get park guests were not in safe conditions. But yeah, so generally, the funny thing is, this goes to show you just how selfish people can get when they want something, when they want to get some kind of benefit. Because because this was never a very common occurrence, but it had happened before. Like, generally, anytime it happened, I would immediately have to be sat down. And just kept it, and I need, like, a close eye on me. Because that's basically all I could have done. Like, standing up was just going to make it worse. Like, let's see. It happened once when I was at church. The priest readily brought me downstairs and kept an eye on me.
Oh, you had churches with priests in them?
Huh?
You had churches with priests?
More or less, or people study... Well, more or less, church employees.
Okay.
But, yes, so I was brought down, and some of the church staff were watching over me while the rest of the service continued upstairs. So I think my aunt later came down to check on me, too, because she was here. My aunt from Florida.
Okay.
So... Then, another time it happened was when I was visiting a shopping mall. We were all walking through a Macy's, and then it started happening. I ended up going on the floor, and of course my mom was getting a little angry, but my dad took a look at me, and I was like super pale, and other people who were passing by took a look at me, and they're like, "Whoa, is he all right?" My dad immediately took me to, like, these automatic massaging chairs that these two kids were testing out, and he politely begged them to move so I can be sat down with them, and they actually moved. Probably because I looked that sickly, but my dad sat me down, and after sitting in the chair, my dad even activated the massage feature. Like, I started to feel better afterward. So that's just several examples of how people reacted outside of a theme park. Inside of the theme park, we're halfway through the line, I start feeling it come on. My dad encourages me to stand up as much as I can, but then he notices I get super pale. Eventually, it got, like, a few minutes later, it got to the point where I was practically crawling on the ground. Not one person batted an eye. Like, no one gave a shit. All they wanted to do was get on this stupid lazy river.
Oh.
In fact, I distinctly remember there was this little fat kid like, I think in the original podcast episode where I told this story, I noted how she had this really irritating voice, and I can't confirm if this actually happened, but I think she was angrily shouting, "Wild, wild, wild!"
So do you?
And huh?
So okay, so are you done yet? So do you eventually make it?
I mean, well, I just wanted to add to that. Like,
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure if that's what the kid was yelling, but I know that she was yelling incoherent stuff in a very irritating way, and it was actually making things even worse for me. Like, my mental state on top of my physical state. Not to sound dramatic, but... And we did eventually make it, and it was okay. But I think after me and my dad got off of it, we were like, wow, why did we have to wait like 2 hours when Disney would have been instant?
Oh, yeah. So how long was the actual river ride? I mean, like,
2 hours? I mean, I think the actual river ride was maybe 10, 15 minutes at most.
really? Oh, that is a 15 minutes? Wow, that's longer than any river ride I've ever been on. I remember. Usually maybe like 5.
I mean, well, the thing is, the Disney Lazy River, I think it would be like a half hour to circle the whole thing.
Wow, that is a big river.
So, yeah, so me and my dad overall didn't think it was worth it. And by this point, the sun was kind of starting to set. Maybe it was like 5 o'clock. Though then again, sunset didn't fully happen until 9 because it's still the summer. But yeah, like you can tell, like the sun was very slowly starting to go down. Like the sun was more noticeably orange. So my ma figured it was almost time to go, but we decided we needed to go on one more ride because, well, we had time.
Yeah.
So we went on another slide, and this slide had like a 2-hour wait, 2.5 hours, I think. I remember getting irritated by the people that were in front of us. There was this one woman whose long hair, like, she kept spastically turning left and right when talking with the people she was with, and her hair would sometimes slap me in the arm. And I would get really pissed off when it happened. And then my sister kept saying, "Come on, she didn't mean it."
So how many? Quick question. How many rides did your sister ride while you're waiting for the river? Or did she ride anything at all?
I don't know what my sister did. All I know is I don't remember her being in line with me.
Oh.
But yeah, we finally waited 2.5 hours to go down a freaking slide.
Was it a regular slide or a tube slide?
Well, I can't. It may have been a regular slide.
I hate regular slides. I always prefer tube slides because the regular slides always seem like they hurt my back, scratch my back up sometimes.
Yeah, they can. But yeah, ultimately we finally escaped that was the point when a lot of people were finally starting to leave the park, but it was close to closing. Like it closed at 7.
So you only rode 2 rides. So you only rode 2 rides that trip?
3.
Oh, 3. Oh.
Yeah, like I think it closed at 7. I know I said 2.5 hours, and that was around 5, so maybe it was more like 4. So yeah, we escaped the park, and we decided never to return.
Not worth it.
Funny thing is, they did have a regular amusement park right next to the water park. From what I remember, the amusement park had a hell of a lot less people there. Probably for obvious reasons. It was a heat wave. In fact, my dad almost considered having us change over to the amusement park because it was open for longer. But we ended up deciding against it because we were like, oh, well, all the water park people are probably just going to transfer over there. So we start riding home. We stop at Cracker Barrel for dinner, and then we finally make it home late night.
Nice.
I mean, I distinctly remember my gram found this giant carousel toy in the Cracker Barrel to be a nice decoration. That was the only thing I remember from Cracker Barrel.
Let's see. I'll see if I have any water park trips. I remember. Well, my lazy rivers weren't. I think maybe I never really timed them. They can't have been like maybe 5-10 minutes at the most, if that even. I only been on 2 lazy rivers. One at my place called Kings Island, and one at Cedar Point. So nothing really interesting happened there. But I do remember there's this little music park where I used to go to when I was in elementary school. It was called Americana.
Oh.
And I think it's closed now. It was a small time amusement park, like a very small amusement park. And they only had 2 roller coasters there. One of them was called the Screeching Eagle. And since it was a very small park, hardly anybody was there, me and my niece got on this coaster, and since there was no line, the guy let us go around like at least 5 times without getting off on the coaster without getting off. Like, who wants to go again? We're like, we do. So we went again without getting off. So I remember that was so fun. But I also remember one time I with my 2 nieces and their friends, and there was 5 of us in the back seat, and again, I was in the middle. So that was fun. And we were eating chicken nuggets from McDonald's. And I always love to have honey in my nuggets, honey and barbecue sauce. So,
oh, wow.
So, but then I kind of accidentally spilled my sauce on the seat and on my niece's friend's dress.
Oh, wow. Oh.
So, whoopsie. So she started crying. And I got a lecture about being more careful. Like, be more careful. Don't order stuff with sauces you can't hold on to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's for that. That's for whatever about my Americana trips. Oh, also another honey story. I told honey again in my brother's car. My brother's a car collector, and the honey spilled. I forget honey barbecue sauce, but it spilled in the those slippy things you put your drinks on.
Yeah.
It fell behind one of those things, and in the cracks of cracks of the back seat.
Oh, God.
So yeah. Your turn again.
Okay, I just have to think of something I can tell. I'm gonna shut off the Wii. Alright, is there anything I can tell next? Well...
Anything that happened in Disney World or anything like that, or
Anything that happened in Disney?
like maybe I don't know.
I mean, I do.
Oh, sorry.
What were you gonna say?
You ever been to Six Flags or anything like that?
Yeah, I've been. Oh, I can tell a very retarded story involving Six Flags. Elementary school schnick.
All right.
So this is elementary school schnick's imagination at work. So we go on a coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure. It was inside of a cave. And I don't know, for some reason, when we were inside the cave in the coaster, for some reason, I think through jolt reaction, I outstretched one arm and I made a grabbing motion as though I was trying to grab something. And from that, I got the neat idea of the day. The reason why we were going on rides was because we needed to collect keys that we needed to escape the park.
Oh, God.
It was a fucking video game scenario that elementary school schnick came up with. And the really unfortunate thing is my dad actually played along with it at first. Like, at one point, we were in, like, this little playground, Looney Tunes playground area for kids. Like, basically, scenario. There was all these foam balls you were able to put inside, like, cannons, and you were able to, like, shoot it at stuff. Like, shoot it at targets and whatnot. And I was having a blast in there. And then my dad decided to hurry me out of there. And he even, to get me out of there faster, he was like, come on, we gotta get more of your keys. And yeah, this is where MarioTube would probably be saying, why? Why would you encourage him? But my mod was irritated by it the whole time, and gradually, when I was forcing people to ride certain rides that my gram, I don't know if my gram was with me, but when I was forcing people to ride certain rides, or if I didn't want to go on certain rides, I would claim, oh, there's no key on this ride. Eventually, my ma finally said, cut it out. Stop it with this key stuff. Though they didn't really enforce it. Like, I just kind of silently said, okay, we got all the keys, let's go. Oh. Actually, I think as we were leaving the park, I claimed I had 9 out of 10 keys, and to get the 10th key, I had to go back into the Looney Tunes playground area. And my dad's like, no, we're going home. And I was like, okay, I have the 10th key now. And then one day I went to an after-school program in Yonkers. And as we were driving home, I was discussing with my dad the possibility of further Six Flags trips. And he said, maybe. And I was saying, when we go to Six Flags Hurricane Harbor, we're going to have to find 5 water tokens. And my dad's like, no, we're just going to theme parks to have fun, not to find keys or tokens or anything.
So no Zelda adventures for you.
Exactly.
Did you and Brandon find any keys on? Did you and Brandon find any keys on your New York trip?
Hell no, I didn't even reference that to him while we were here.
Let's see.
Oy.
Do I have any dumb stories about? I think I have one. So
Okay.
every year, me and my, I went with my like 5-6 years, I went with my brother and his family to okay. to Cedar Point.
Okay.
And me and my niece used to play a game like we were detectives.
Sounds innocent so far, but was this in a public place?
Yeah.
Was it against your parents' will?
I don't know, my parents weren't there, so...
Okay. Oh, then automatically your story's better.
And so I was playing with my niece. We were detectives, and we were going on a world tour. Like each ride was like was a different city, and we had to defeat the big boss of each city.
Actually sounds a lot more innocent.
Oh yeah. So finally, we went to the final ride, and the boss of all the world lived on the moon. So we had to go on a spaceship ride to get on the moon. Let's see. Do you have any other stories to tell?
I mean, other stories. I mean, you want to try and give me some ideas?
Let's see. You told Six Flags stories. You told the Beach Dora story before.
Yes, I did.
Let's see. And I know you told the full. I don't know if you told the full story of it, but there was the Lightning Disney World story.
Oh, the Lightning Disney World story? I pretty much told that whole story. That was very recent, only because I'm a little bit paranoid with lightning, and I just wanted to get into the car as fast as possible. But because my ma couldn't walk very fast, the fact that I was sticking close to running ahead frequently to stick close to buildings, kind of irritated my ma.
Yeah, I remember that day you had to be you were in the call, but you had to be very quiet.
Yeah, I was in the call, but I was basically silent.
Let's see. Now I feel. Oh, I remember one day. Oh, I remember one for me at least. It was an adventure trip. I'm like. It was about 2010. It was this day, 2010, because I saw a memory of it on my Facebook page, so I can find it. All right. Where did it go? Basically, I was riding my bike, so I was bored, on the bike trail. I'm like, I'm gonna see how far I can go. So I went far, and I kept going. And going and going and going until I'm like, maybe a little bit further. I can do this a little further. So going. Oh my god. Speaking of Facebook, my thing worked. And we are live on Facebook right now.
Oh, you made it work on Facebook?
Yeah, awesome.
Oh.
Here it is. You can't see it unless you're looking at the thing. I'm not sharing the screen. But it's like I rode 36 miles on my bike that day. 18 miles to somewhere and 18 miles back. I was very tired afterwards, but Yeah. So I'm like, so what's the? Have you ever gone that far on your bike?
Typically, when I was bike riding, I didn't ride the bike that far. It was typically just in my back road. I may have rode it a bit at my public park, but I think I just rode around the park once or twice.
Are there any bike trails in your area?
Yeah, at the public park. Well,
Oh.
not a bike trail in the traditional like if we're talking a bike trail like a hiking trail, then I don't think so.
You know, ours is paved. In our areas, there's things called rails, the trails where they disassemble old railroad tracks and turn the bike trails.
Oh.
They're paved and everything else. They go for miles.
Yeah, well, a park near me does at least have a road for people to bike on in circles around the park. Well, not like direct circles, like they have to circle around the entire park.
All right. Anything else?
I mean, really want to tell stories, but I can't really think of anything else. I mean, I wish we were able to get more people on here.
Yeah. You want to try Jesse or
I think if they wanted to come on, they would have seen by now.
I'll try. Alright.
I mean, we've been making this go for about an hour.
Awesome. Well, I guess there's no more trip stories for now, at least. I can remember at least. I guess I'll do my movie review time. Okay, everybody. Spoilers. I can't do that thing like. Don't have a thing like that. But going to talk about the Winnie the Pooh movie. Which, in my opinion, so far, has been the best Disney real-life remake that I've seen.
Wow.
As I get ready, as I get ready, as I get this ready, is there any movies that you've seen so far that you like? Is there any movies that you've seen that you liked?
Recently?
Yeah.
Funny thing is, this year has been relatively quiet in terms of movies I've gone to see, mostly due to what happened with Molly's Game.
Oh.
Not to mention, I haven't really had much of a desire to go to the movies, mostly because I'm a bit wrapped up in keeping myself busy, not necessarily with job searching, but also contacting people for leads and maybe even finding ways to volunteer.
Yeah.
Because if I keep myself busy, that's definitely going to help me out, and it's going to help me meet people, because I think that's my big desire. I want to talk to people. I want to help people out.
So you didn't see Ant-Man or Avengers?
Well, I can bring up the list of movies I've seen this year. All right, just give me a minute. On an unrelated note, you know that there was a story involving a celebrity?
There was?
Yeah, not so much a big celebrity, but essentially, did you hear the story about one of the former actors from The Cosby Show being spotted working at a Trader Joe's?
I did not.
Yeah, he was spotted working at a Trader Joe's, not because he didn't get any acting gigs or anything, but he was just kind of doing a side thing. Someone recognized him at the Trader Joe's he was working at and ended up sending a photo of him to a press outlet. And they immediately started running the story saying, this actor from The Cosby Show is working at Trader Joe's. His career must be over or something. When in fact, that's not at all the case. In fact, a lot of celebrities in the industry came to his defense, and he was saying, hang on. A lot of people didn't like how quite a few people were trying to job shame him, and he responded by saying that the job he was working, like all others, is important. Every job has dignity and worth. Which is a little bit of a prideful statement, and it is true. Every job gives their piece to society. Unless, of course, you work a job where nothing's getting done. Like, if you're working, like say, for instance, you're only working for, like, an entrepreneur or something, or for something or if you're trying to work for scammers. And by entrepreneur, I mean someone who doesn't know what they're doing. Like, the thing with entrepreneuring is that you need to know what you're doing. You need to know how to conduct good business. But even that's debatable. Generally, trying to make the effort to do good work, whether you're just an employee for a company, if you're an entrepreneur, it's kind of like that episode of Rugrats. The Christmas episode where Angelica keeps trying to be good to Phil and Lil to avoid getting a big old lump of coal for Christmas. And then when Santa actually visits the house, Santa even tells her trying to be good is also being good in the first place. But to get back to this guy is no longer at Trader Joe's. Like, he left due to the unwanted attention, but apparently Tyler Perry responded by immediately giving him a job on his next project.
Ah.
Yeah. Goes to show you how, I guess, speaking positive thoughts is a good thing.
True. So the movie.
But what was the story I was going to tell before?
I don't know about the movie you've seen.
Oh, movies. That's right. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Let me tell my story first.
Yeah. Well, I have the list up, but you can tell your story. Go on.
So, before the movie, anyways, this was my first trip to an AMC theater, and at least the one I went to, this theater was much more bigger and, fancier than any theater that I've ever been to before. I mean, the seats are like leather seats and stuff, and colorful, and the seats recline further back than I've ever reclined before. I had to actually not go all the way back. I had to go up a little bit so I wouldn't actually fall asleep in the movie, because that's almost, you're almost going to bed in those seats almost. So we saw Christopher Robin, and it starts out on the last adventure of the day. Christopher Robin was going away to boarding school. So and all the cast except for Gopher. I think he's new. But yeah, they had Pooh, Piglet, Eeyore, Kangaroo, Tigger, Rabbit, and Al, and then they all. Okay, another thing was, the CGI in this movie was amazing. I mean, they actually looked like real stuffed animals, talking stuffed animals, and you can hold the hand, holding the hand and stuff. It's almost like Jurassic Park levels of CGI, where oh no, who knows? They might have actually had real stuffed animals, and that's how realistic these things were, to me at least. So they were saying goodbye. They ate cake. They said their goodbyes, and he left. He crawled through the little tree hole, and apparently this is a mystical universe or something like that, just connected to a tree hole, and the tree is connected to his backyard. Well, he went off. He went to boarding. He drew pictures of him, put under his bed, went off to boarding school, where he was forced to grow up fast when his dad died. Like you're now the man of the house. So he grew up. He met this girl. Got older. Met this girl on a bus. They got married. He went off. This was in the 40s. He went off and fought in World War II. And while he was out there in the world, when he was out there fighting the war, his wife had a baby, a daughter, named Madeline or Maddie. I don't know if it's the same. If that's the same name the real one had or not.
I'm actually gonna look that up.
Well, he got back, hung out, he got a job with a suitcase company, and all of a sudden he was like a workaholic, like work. Never had time for his family anymore. So one day, about to go on vacation, and the boss came in like, sorry, like we got to cut 20% of the labor. We're gonna cut 20%. We're gonna make 20% cuts. So he had to stay behind. Well, send his wife and daughter out to have fun at his family's country home in the country. And anyways, meanwhile, all of Pooh's friends had disappeared. So kind of like almost like K8's style, everyone else disappeared. So it was like you're wondering. So every day before, for years and years, Pooh went to Mr. Robin's house door and waited for him to come out. He never did. So finally, he's like, I'm going in there and I'm looking for him myself. So he went in the door, and the tree appeared, and the door appeared in where his new house is. So he sat on the bench, came there. Mr. Robin sat on the bench too. And all of a sudden, he saw Pooh. Pooh saw him, and Pooh recognized him. He was like, "Hello, Christopher Robin." He's like, oh God, I'm cracking. He's like, Pooh, that you? Like, he's like, oh my God, I'm cracking. Anyways, I don't know who played. By the way, I don't know who played Pooh, but I know who played Christopher Robin was Obi-Wan.
Well, no, the voice actor that played Pooh actually reprised his role from the animated stuff.
So Jim Cummings.
Jim Cummings, yeah.
So Christopher Robin was played by Obi-Wan, and
well, not drunk Obi-Wan, the actual movie Obi-Wan.
And his wife was played by Peggy Carter from Captain America.
Oh wow!
Not sure who played the daughter. I think she looks familiar, but not from. Like I've seen her something before, but can't really place it. Yeah, so Peggy Sue from Captain America and Obi-Wan for her husband and wife in this 22 movie. So, anyways, he took Pooh on the train. Oh, he was like, Pooh was like, I want a balloon. got Pooh a balloon, and then some little kid almost kidnapped Pooh. He's like, and he took the bear from the little kid. Like, that's mine.
Okay.
It's like the kid's in a stroller, carrying Pooh. He's like, hey, you stole my bear. Mom's like, hey. Because we're like, well, he was mine first. So he had this. He went to the cottage where he had to avoid his daughter seeing him because he was disappointed her again. He crawled through the door at the cottage, and like he was like, almost too big to get through there. He just basically squeezed through the door to get through the magical door. And then they're looking around the Hunter Woods. They got lost a bit. And Pooh was talking. They were talking, and it's like, I don't know. He said, aren't you friends with your employees? It's like, no, I don't want to be their friends because I had to let them go. And Pooh's like, is that what you did to me? Did you let me go? So then they got lost, and he yelled at Pooh, called him stupid, basically. And he disappeared, and he got scared, got worried, looking for him, and he fell down. And Pooh and the Future Program fell down a hole. This was a trap he made for the Huffalumps or Woozles years ago. He fell on that. So he got out, and there was Eeyore there.
Oh wow!
Floating down the river, like in the. So it's like, I'll save you, Eeyore. He held his nose, jumped in, and went up to his ankles. He's like, oh yeah, I'm an adult now. So. Oh god! So, they went to Al's house. Apparently, it had fallen down, and then one of them making noise, so that they're all scared that Huffalump was out there. And Rod was the Huffalump, so they went to talk to him. They were hiding from him. So first of all, Rob had to pretend to fight a he had to pretend to fight a Huffalump to get their trust again. As soon as they did that, they recognized him. It's really him. So they reunited. Then they found Pooh. He was at their little meeting at the log. Their meeting log, and he fell asleep. They all fell asleep, and then he woke up the next day like, oh god, I'm late. So Tigger gave him his briefcase and went off. His papers, but what we didn't know was Tigger taking out his papers and put in silly stuff like acorns and stuff and all this stuff to remember them by. So he went out there. He left the balloon for his daughter and went off to the train to meeting. Meanwhile, the animals found out that they still had his papers. So they crawled through the so Pooh, Tigger, Piglet, and Eeyore. Yeah, Pooh, Tigger, Piglet, and Eeyore went through the hole, and they ran. Anyways, his daughter saw him, was mad he couldn't stay, so his mom's like, you know what? Go play. You know, you're a little girl. You should go play some. He's like, okay. So he found the balloon. She started like hitting it like she was at Wimbledon, and then all of a sudden Pooh and them came out. First he was scared, and she's like wait a minute, are you the bear from my father's drawings? So she took the bear, all the animals, on her tricycle or bike to go to the train station. Her mom found out and followed them. Anyways, they're on the train station, and they're talking and stuff. And she ordered like 5 cups of tea. I was like, "Can I have 5 cups of tea, please, and with lots of honey?" And the girl, and I guess the train attendant didn't say anything. The train attendant didn't say anything to her. So I guess he thought she's having fun pretending, whatever, like pretending, you know, like okay. So, and the animals really did drink. The animals really did drink the tea. So, anyways, she was carrying them. She carried them on the got home. She got on a taxi, you know, driving around. Oh, and then Tigger sang his Tigger song. The wonderful thing about Tiggers. So, and she was laughed at that. Anyways, all of a sudden, Tigger saw his reflection in the window of the thing. It's like, started attacking the reflection. The cab driver saw it and freaked out because he saw the animals move. So he crashed, and you know, and they got out. And he's like, officer, arrest that bunch. Like, what bunch? Open it up, and it's all the little girl with the stuffed animals. Oh, sure, I see these guys were really, these people were really dangerous. You know, little girl and her stuffed animals. He's like, but they're alive. He's like, sir, how much have you been drinking today? So they all got stuck in a suitcase trying to go to her father's business, and Christopher Robin at the office, doing a presentation, and then started pulling out the stuff that they left in the box. Like what's this? I was like, are you taking this seriously or not? So all of a sudden his wife came in, so that was missing, and he's like, you're gonna say, like, it's like, no. And he left the meeting because he looked for his daughter. Meanwhile, his wife thinks he's crazy because he's talking about all these animals talking. Like after we find Maddie, we're gonna get you a doctor appointment. All of a sudden, Eeyore, Tigger, and Piglet cross into the window. He's like, hello, you must be Christopher Robin's wife. He's like, yeah. So, anyways, they find Maddie, but she had lost all the papers, so she was like sad, because she figured that if her dad did better at his job, he could spend more time with her. But he's like, you're the most important thing in the world to me. All of a sudden, she rescued one paper. It was like a pyramid. And he looked at it. He's like, that's it. And he went back to the meeting, and he said, if you give everyone here vacations, more vacation time, the common people, then they're going to need to buy luggage. So they're going to buy luggage from us. So, and the big boss liked it. His boss didn't. But his dad, like, hey, that's smart. That's a good idea. So, everyone got vacation time, and then he took his wife and his daughter into the Hungry Woods and introduced them to the rest of the gang. And then the movie ended, and the post-credit scene was everyone at the beach celebrating, like all the employees, and Pooh and them were all in lawn chairs, were like drinking like cola or whatever, or martinis. So,
what's funny is that I think you could actually see the surviving Sherman brother on the beach playing piano.
Shai and Sherman brother?
The Sherman brothers, who wrote a lot of Disney songs back in the day, like one of the Sherman brothers has since died, but another one's still around, and he even made the music for the movie. Yeah.
So yeah, it was an awesome movie. Looked very realistic. It was cute and heartwarming, and like, I don't know if it's a real life remake or a sequel.
It is. I mean, well, the thing is, it doesn't tell the true story of the real Christopher Robin.
But I mean, a real life remake, as in like Maleficent and Cinderella. Those are like a Jungle Book, you know, the real life.
Yeah, it is very fictionalized. Like, for instance, in real life, he doesn't have a daughter with that name.
I mean, you know what I mean by real life remakes, like 100 other ways, like they take the movie and make it real with real people instead of cartoon characters.
And I don't like those for the most part.
But that one was you should watch this one. It was the best one I've seen.
All right.
Like the CGI was awesome in my opinion. Like Jurassic Park standards. You couldn't really you couldn't tell it was CGI almost. They looked like real stuffed animals.
Yeah, I saw the trailers and looked at.
Yeah, it was cute and heartwarming, and if you're emotional, it tugs at your heartstring. And I think it tells a very important lesson for adults too. You know, even though you have to be an adult and work and stuff, you should still set some time away for fun. You know, you should have some fun. Either your family or by yourself. You know, don't be a workaholic.
Well, see, this is why I kind of just want to simply go into a simple 9-to-5 career, because from what I hear, video editing, you work a lot of overtime. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting into the industry if the stories I told eventually got picked up, but
Well, I guess that's all for today. So, what have we learned today?
Well, I didn't get to talk about the movies I saw this year.
Oh, sorry, go.
Well, after Molly's Game, like, yeah, there was a whole crap ton of movies I saw last year, but this year, after Molly's Game, it was pretty much The Commuter, which I liked a lot better. Then it was a Western movie called Hostiles, which was about, basically you get Batman from the Dark Knight trilogy playing an officer who escorts a family of Native Americans back to their homeland. It was at least interesting. Then there was Black Panther, which I saw in a refurbished movie theater with new seats. Then there was a movie called Game Night, which was a comedy slash murder mystery kind of thing. Let's just say the theater was laughing quite a bit at it, yet I feel like I've been desensitized to a lot of comedy. And I found the murder mystery part very interesting, but I didn't really laugh at the movie. And looking back, I probably should have brought my sister with me. Because part of the reason I stopped going to movies so much is because, well, it's kind of meant to be a group outing. And usually I have no one to go with. Then I went to go see the Death Wish remake, and I liked it, versus Politics freaking saying it's one of the worst movies ever. Then one of them was an indie flick called Thoroughbreds. I got bored of it a couple of times throughout, but literally the only reason I was there was out of respect for the guy who played Chekhov in the reboot Star Trek movies. Because this movie here was his last movie. Then there was a movie called Chappaquiddick, which talked about how one of the Kennedy brothers accidentally killed someone. Like, essentially, he was drunk driving, and he drove the car into water, and while he swam out, a passenger in the car drowned. And the movie basically covered how it ruined his chances for a presidential election. Because, of course, this came right after John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and Robert F. Kennedy, or was it just Robert Kennedy, was assassinated just before he could run for president. Then, right after that, and I think that was the last movie I saw that wasn't an action movie in some way, to date. Then there was Avengers Infinity War. Of course I liked that. Of course I liked that one. It was freaking elementary school schnick's dream. A movie where the villain wins. Then Deadpool 2 was fun. Incredibles 2, I saw it twice. Thankfully, both times I saw it with somebody.
Yeah, Incredibles 2 sounds like almost like a direct sequel to Incredibles 1. That almost happens right afterwards.
Yeah, it does. And I'll say it's a bit weird. Incredibles 2 goes through a lot more of a 1960s aesthetic, whereas I felt the first movie was more of a 70s aesthetic. In fact, the time frame's a little bit wrong for it to be in the 60s, so that's why I say it should still be 70s.
So you don't think it's a modern? You don't think it's modern times?
It's not modern. It's not modern. Like, the flashback in the first movie is clearly in the 50s, and then it takes place 15 years later, and there's specific references to superheroes existing in the late 50s, like 1957, 1958. But that would mean the present-day portion of the first movie has to take place at least in the early 70s, because how could there be superheroes? How can 15 years pass with superheroes being banned? and yet they were and the movie takes place in the present day in the 60s when they're supposed to be banned for 15 years when there were heroes still present in the late 50s.
All right. I don't know.
So
it seems like the technology there was like more like modern technology.
I mean, well, I would say the first movie has a lot more modernized technology, only probably because of Syndrome, because he's a big inventor.
Oh, okay. Like, what about the monorail in the second movie?
The modern stuff in the second movie is a lot less apparent. Like, it feels like they were going for a lot more of a 60s aesthetic in the second movie, even though, like I said, it probably should have been early 70s.
Alright. I guess the camera and the TV series, like TV shows and the computer stuff were like more...
Well, people keep saying it's in the 60s because there's a moment in the movie where you can see an episode of Johnny Quest being played.
Oh, the original?
Yeah, the original. So, let's just argue, for the sake of argument, in this universe, Johnny Quest reruns were going on in the 70s.
How they were? They were going on in the 80s.
Yeah, so that's understandable. So, I saw Incredibles 2 twice. Once with my sister and then once with my dad. So at least I wasn't alone. Then I saw the new Jurassic World with a friend of mine and his friends and his dad. They didn't like the movie all that much, and I'll admit it had its problems, but I guess it was okay. I mean, probably my biggest disappointment was the fact that Jeff Goldblum was barely in the movie. Like, they made such a big deal out of him returning, and literally, the scene of him that you see in the trailer is all he appears in the movie. Like, he doesn't even interact with the new characters. Or any of the main characters, for that matter. Then after that, it was Ant-Man. Then it was The Equalizer 2, and then currently the last movie I've seen in theaters is Mission Impossible Fallout. Mission Impossible Fallout was damn good, though.
Was?
Yeah, it was.
Awesome.
I know that when Brandon was here, his brother tried to make his parents take us into a screening on our last day, but we had just missed the start of the screening, so we didn't go.
Yeah. Usually, the movies, I don't mind being a little bit late to the movies. I usually plan to be late. I usually plan to be late to movies now because usually the real movie doesn't start until like 10 minutes.
Yeah, like usually you have like a 20-minute margin of error.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were some movies I skipped. I ultimately didn't see Solo: A Star Wars Story because I wasn't that interested. And I almost wanted to see Ocean's 8 just to get the cameos of the original Ocean's trilogy cast members. And then I found out they weren't in, and Ocean's 8 was basically an SJW movie. So I did not go see it. And the funny thing is, I only wanted to go basically out of respect for the original trilogy because a lot of people like it. I didn't like it that much just because, those movies aren't for me.
Yeah.
Especially when I watched Logan Lucky, a movie made by the same director and was basically an Ocean's movie with rednecks. Let's just say I didn't find the movie that interesting either, and it was partially responsible for my disinterest in going to the theaters.
Yeah, I think the only time you had a bad time in the theater before that was your water bottle adventure.
The water bottle adventure?
Where everyone was ordering water except for you, and the lady gave you water automatically. And you're like, I don't want water.
Yeah, well, that one was just a minor thing. So, funny thing is, there's really not that many. The funny thing is, movies I have always managed to skip going to see were the Purge movies.
Apparently, there's a TV series about that now.
Yeah, they are making a TV series of it. The first movie I skipped because it wasn't that good. The second movie I heard was a lot better, but I couldn't go see it because my dad insisted on coming, and he doesn't like those movies. The third movie I was going to go see, but I was working with my cousin at the time, and by the time I got home, the movie was basically out of theaters. And then the fourth movie, I was like, okay, maybe I'll go see this. Until it ended up working in a lot of real-life politics that were making a lot of people angry. Like, I think I'm not sure if this is true or not, but essentially the movie was anti-white propaganda. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but if it's propaganda towards any people of any gender, race, or anything, then I can't support that. Because if you want equality, you gotta support everybody equally, not say someone's evil.
That's true.
Yeah.
Alright, so Snick, what have you learned today?
I learned that there's probably only 3 more movies this entire year I have interest in seeing at the moment. They are the new Halloween, the new Fantastic Beasts, and Creed 2.
Well, I've learned that on all trips you take, you'll have at least one memory that you'll remember forever.
Yeah.
And I've also learned that Disney can still make good movies.
Yeah, they can.
Alright, well, join us Saturday for hopefully more than us as we talk about a new topic. Whatever that topic may be, and whatever co-star would happen to be on the show. And join me on this stream later on in a little bit and we'll see if I might continue on with the Snick RPG. I'm about to go to scenario mode. So
you're gonna play shitty RPG in a minute?
20 minutes, whatever.
Yeah, I think that would be better. It's your turn today.
So we'll see y'all Saturday. Never stop learning and enjoy the randomness. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Most certainly never stop learning.